me personally, I thought the Cleveland Browns had one of the best drafts this draft class out of all the teams. I give them an A+. Analysts like Mel Kiper gave them an A+, A-. The grades for them have been high because they were able to get a guy like Mason Graham, a disruptor up the middle. He fits in very well up the middle. They really haven't had a great D tackle like that, so adding him alongside Myles Garrett, he's going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups, and he's going to eat. Him and Myles Garrett's going to be a dangerous tandem up the middle. Harold Fenton Jr. as a tight end number 2. They could run a lot of 12 personnel sets. Him and Njoku, I really like that. And then Judkins, Dylan Sampson, those are 2 running backs that are thunder and lightning. They could have a nice tandem in the backfield. Jerome Ford, solid running back, but he doesn't have the ceiling like a Judkins does. Judkins had 3 1,000-yard seasons in the Big Ten and in the SEC. He can be a volume runner, a chain extender. He's a tough physical back. He reminds me a lot of David Montgomery, just a little faster. He has great vision. He has great power, great strength. Former SEC Player of the Year. So he, even coming into Ohio State sharing carries with Henderson, he was still able to have 1,000 yards rushing. Had a big championship game performance as well, helping the Buckeyes, take the victory. So this is a perfect running back to come into this offense, and you see the change. They want to run 12 personnel. They improve this offensive line. Tevin Jenkins is in the mix. They're going to want to run the ball a lot more, and I think that fits what this team has. They have a great defense. You were one of the worst running teams last year. Nick Chubb, he's not coming back. So Judkins, Sampson, really like his ability to score touchdowns. He was an SEC Player of the Year. Great day 2 talent. Pick 126, they got Sampson. 22 touchdowns last season. 1,400 total yards. 5.8 yards per carry. 13 career 100-yard game performances. He has speed and he has a touchdown production. And he has that track background, so he has blazing speed. So him and Judkins are going to balance each other out and really be a nice dynamic backfield. And yeah, Harold Fenton Jr. is just another weapon. He just put up maybe the best tight end season in college football history. 117 receptions, 1,500 yards receiving. MAC Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. He's tough to tackle, playmaker in space, the yak ability, he's got it. So this is another weapon to add to this Browns team. They signed Deontay Johnson. It's an interesting weapon, I guess. He's kind of a locker room cancer, but maybe he'll be a little more motivated to go against, the Steelers twice a year, the Baltimore Ravens twice a year now. So who knows? They could get some production out of him, but I think Jerry Jeudy is obviously receiver 1. He had a fantastic season last year. When we had a functional quarterback, he put up big numbers, had 1,000 yards last season. So we saw the potential of Jerry Jeudy finally come to life. And they got the linebacker from UCLA who was dominant in his first year starting. Led the country with 90 solo tackles, had 132 total tackles, 4 sacks, finalist for the Dick Butkus Award. He can rush to the passer, dominate against the run. He has fast eyes, great in coverage, reads to offense so quick. So this is a great addition to this defense. They've been missing that, really good, solid linebacker besides Jock. Hopefully he could come back and be healthy. So I thought all around the Browns did a great job. This was a great draft class. But then you look at, the pick for Dylan Gabriel. They traded up to get him in the 3rd round. And it's like, Dylan Gabriel is the 10th best quarterback in this draft class. What are we possibly doing with that? Dylan Gabriel, I think he's a decent quarterback, but you drafted him 3rd round, like I said, a huge reach. And, seemed like that's what Andrew Berry and Stefanski wanted to do. And then you see them take Shedeur round 5. He kept sliding. And you see the video, and it looks like, the staff isn't really happy with getting Shedeur Sanders. And you have the owner sitting right behind him, clapping and being happy about it. And you see Andrew Berry's face and Stefanski. So it makes me think that they didn't want to get him. It was more of, the owner stepped in, we need to take him, 5th round. In hindsight, this is fantastic value. You get a guy that could potentially be your franchise quarterback in the 5th round. I'd be breakdancing. I'd be cheering. I'd be going crazy. We get a quarterback that with a high ceiling in the 5th round. But Shedeur Sanders, all the whole situation that was going on, crazy prank call, just a a crazy situation, maybe the biggest slide we've seen in NFL history. But he's going to come into Cleveland with an opportunity. I think, regardless of where he got drafted, this was the best landing spot for him to have an opportunity to start because Joe Flacco was their starting quarterback, 39 years old, off the fucking couch again. So I think this is his best chance to come in and be a starter, be the franchise answer. And, he's not the usual 5th round pick. He's going to get all the opportunity, all the chances to get reps. Dillon Gabriel, 5 quarterbacks in this quarterback room. Deshaun Watson, he's not going to play at all in 2025. He's got that Achilles injury he suffered earlier this, offseason. Kenny Pickett, I don't know why the fuck they traded for Kenny Pickett. He's ass. The Eagles moved on from him because their 3rd string quarterback was better than him after they traded for him. So he provides no value whatsoever to your quarterback room. He needs to go. Joe Flacco's 39 years old. I don't see him starting for too many games this season. If they're actually a functional organization, he should not be starting for more than 5 games this season. Then you look at Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is better than Dillon Gabriel. We can all agree to that. So Shedeur Sanders should start off after, training camp, after preseason. I think he'll do very well. He's already, making an impact in the community, doing his thing. I think he should be able to come in. This, experience, him getting drafted in the 5th round, I think it'll be even better for him. It's not as much pressure to succeed. His jersey's the #1 selling jersey in rookie sales, but I think Cleveland coming into the situation, Joe Flacco having a veteran like that, there's not as much pressure as him to come in and make this team a playoff Super Bowl team. I think to start the season, Joe Flacco starts 5 games. Things go all right, not too great, but the talk gets louder and louder about Shedeur Sanders coming in to start. So I see Shedeur coming in after like week 5, during the mid-season, being the starting quarterback. But I think he wins the quarterback 2 job. I think very soon into training camp, they move on from Kenny Pickett because you can't have 5 quarterbacks on the roster. We already talked about Deshaun Watson not being available, so you can't have 4. So I think at the most they'll have 3. They'll have Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback, Shedeur Sanders as QB2, Dillon Gabriel as QB3. And I think Shedeur Sanders with the weapons, Jerry Jeudy, Harold Fannin Jr., this run game, with this offense just being a perfect scheme fit for him, I see Shedeur Sanders having a really great rookie season. I feel like this is as good a situation he could come into with all the circumstances, given all the circumstances in Cleveland. They've been dying for a star quarterback. They've been dying for somebody to come in and change things around and be that elite player. They haven't had a superstar player. Myles Garrett's a really superstar player. He's their franchise guy. They need to change things and have it be a quarterback. They have a 1st round pick next year from the Jacksonville trade, so they need to see what they got in Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel. They need to look at all this before they go on and see the quarterback class next year. My prediction for this season for the Cleveland Browns is Shedeur Sanders wins the job at midseason, midpoint, and he takes off. He has a good rookie season, a productive rookie season with all the weapons. And if they could get some solid quarterback play, this team is in position to compete. This team could compete in their division if they just get the quarterback position right, something that they haven't done. They went to the playoffs with Joe Flacco when he was just getting off the couch. So Shedeur Sanders, if he could come in, have success, I think he can with this offense just fitting around his talent, fitting around what he does well, the play action. They need a pinpoint accurate quarterback in this offense, so I think he could do some great things in his rookie season.
Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.